Hello and welcome to the career simulation of the 6th overall pick in the 2023 NHL draft, Dmitri Simashev. Let's go. To start off his career, he would be playing for the Moose Jaw Warriors of the WHL on the first defensive pairing. At the end of the season in 68 games, Simashev would put up 32 points and is now projected to go 25th overall. However, the Warriors would miss the playoffs, getting 17th in the WHL in the draft lottery. The Blackhawks and the Wild have the highest odds of the first overall pick. Nothing really happened, but the Canadiens would receive a second overall pick, and with 20th overall pick the St. Louis Blues would select Dmitri Simashev. Simashev is also revealed to be a 62 overall. In year one he would not receive a contract yet but is up to a 66 overall. He would still be playing on the first defensive pairing of the Warriors, but the Warriors would demote him to the second. Simashev would play another 68-game season and would score 46 points. The Warriors would make the playoffs, finishing 10th in the league, but in the first round would be eliminated to the Oil Kings in 7 games. In those 7 playoff games, Simashev would only get 3 points. In year 2, Simashev is a 69 overall but would still not revive a contract and is once again still on the Warriors. Simashev would score 35 points. Simashev's Warriors would place 18th and miss the playoffs. In his final chance at receiving a contract, he would for a 3-year deal for $904,000 and is now a 70 overall. But when the next season starts, he is now a 77. He would then go down to the AHL on the first line of the Thunderbirds. In his first AHL season he would score 31 points in a 63-game season. The Thunderbirds would make the playoffs, placing 10th, but in the playoffs would be eliminated in the first round to the Roadrunners in 4. He would only put up 2 points too. He would be up to an 80 overall next season. But he would go up to the NHL on the third pairing of the Blues. A kind of disappointing year, as he would put up 7 points in a full 82-game season. The Blues would finish 28th and miss the playoffs. In the last year of his rookie contract he is up to an 83. A better season, scoring 24 points in a full season this time. But more disappointment for Simashev and the Blues, as the Blues would finish 27th in the league. Simashev would test free agency out though as soon as he became a Blue. But Simashev would regret that season, as he is back on the Blues on a 1-year $5.665 million deal. Simashev would also put up 34 points. The Blues would have another disappointing year, as they would finish dead last in the league, placing 32nd. Simashev would once again sign with the Blues on a 6-year $6.393 million contract. But in the offseason he would be traded to the Flyers. Also, he is an 86. Also, here is the trade: Simashev would be traded for a few picks and Alex Regula. Now in orange with his new team, Simashev would score 29 points. The Flyers would finish 13th in the league, and the Penguins would eliminate the Flyers in 6 playoff games in the second round. Simashev would only put up 2 points in 12 playoff games with the Flyers. In year 8 he is now an 87 overall. He would go on to score 32 points in a whole season. But the Philadelphia Flyers would finish 26th in the league. Simashev would reach maximum potential at 27 years old and is an 87. Simashev would put up a new career high, putting up 42 points. The Flyers would be back in the playoffs, getting 12th in the playoffs. The Penguins would once again eliminate the Flyers, this time in 7 games. He is still an 87. Simashev would stay in the 40-point range, getting exactly 40 points. The Flyers would finish 10th in the league too. But would once again lose in the second round, this time to the Maple Leafs. In 12 playoff games Simashev would score 9 points. Once again Simashev would still be an 87. Simashev would put up 36 points but would also be randomly traded to the Kraken. The trade consisted of Simashev to the Kraken for some picks to the Flyers. The Kraken would finish 4th in the league with their newly acquired Simashev. In the conference finals the Jets would eliminate the Kraken in 7 games. In the whole playoffs Simashev would play 19 games and would score 9 points. In his final contract owned by the Flyers he is down to an 86. Simashev would play a full season but would only put up 33 points. The Kraken would finish second in the whole league too. But in the second round the Kraken would meet the Blues, and in 5 games Simashev's first team would eliminate the Kraken. Anyway, in 9 games Simashev would score 5 points. Simashev would test out free agency again and would sign a 3-year $8.660 million contract deal with the Canadiens. In 82 games with his new team Simashev would score 29 points. The Canadiens would finish 6th place in the NHL. Sadly, in 6 games the Lightning would eliminate the Canadiens. In 13 games the Canadiens would score 4 points. Simashev is still an 86 even in his 30s. Simashev would record 37 points this year and the Canadiens would just barely make the playoffs, getting 15th in the league. But Simashev would see disappointment once again as they would lose in the second round again, this time to the Columbus Blue Jackets. Anyway, in 11 games Simashev would score 7 points. In year 15 Simashev would be bought out by the Canadiens and the Vancouver Canucks would sign Simashev. He would be signed to a 4-year $8.672 million deal and is back to an 87 overall. Simashev would score 40 points in 82 games too. The Canucks would miss the playoffs though as they finished 21st. Once again Simashev is still an 87. In 82 games Simashev would score 34 points. The Canucks would miss the playoffs again though, finishing 19th. As a 34-year-old Simashev is down to an 85. Simashev would only play 61 games but in those 61 games would score 24 points. The Canucks would place 15th but would miss a wild card spot, getting 15th in the whole league. In what could be his final year the Rangers would acquire Simashev in a trade for 2 players and 3 picks. Simashev would score 16 points and the Rangers would trade Simashev back to the Blues. The Blues would finish directly below his former team, the Rangers, getting 11th in the league. In 5 games though the Jets would eliminate the Blues. At 36-year-old Simashev would retire from the NHL. Here are his stats, pause to read if you would like. Hope you enjoyed that video. Thank you for watching. Goodbye.